Hello, welcome to this quick overview of using Smart and Apple products together and how well they work together. So what I've got here is I've got my Mac linked up to the smartboard, and the first thing you can see is I've got touch. So each of these objects here, I can then move around as you'd expect from that. With 2 fingers here, I can pinch to zoom as well. So having that multi-points of touch, quite unique to Smart, the fact that I can do that. With that multiple touch here. And of course it knows that my pen is a pen as well, and that's automatic. I don't need to go through any buttons or pause the display, that it actually works simultaneously at the same time. So I can ink, I can move. In fact, I can have multiples inking as well if I can have my fingers. That one can be there and that as well. So I can have multiple points of touch, really interacting with that, becoming a lot more natural rather than having to go through menus or only kind of that one point of touch with there as well. I can have that pinch to zoom. Now that is doing it in the Smart Notebook software itself here. And of course I can add in any other files to that itself there. Or if I move that one out of the way, let's go and have a look at it within a PDF as an example. Now of course Apple have got their own markup tools that can be used, and you can all use those as well. But using the Smart ones itself, I can actually ink directly into that web PDF itself here. So I can ink on that if that inking is too small, or if I want it in another size. I've got lots of inking tools here. So if I want a small red, for example, I can have that. And then what you'll notice, it is my pen, my finger naturally know what's touching it. And then I can have that underlining, and that is now staying within my PDF here. So as I move down my test paper, wherever it might be, that inking stays within it. And that is the same over any application itself. So even if I bring up a file manager here, my folder, my files, fine, I can move that, and that inking stays within each application. I can see that inking, I can do that one, and that seamless approach really comes to it. I haven't got to pause and do it that way. Within PowerPoint or within slides or anything for there itself, or of course within Keynote, I can then go full screen with any of those applications. And then again, I can choose which way I interact with it itself here. So I'm just going to put this on full screen mode so I can use that one here, use a slideshow. So again, I can use the markup tools that any of those applications provide. So for example, if it was the Microsoft one here, I can click on the inking tools. I can use the inking tools there. And that way, if I select those tools again, I can just go through the pages, and that inking is then within each of those pages. If I choose to use the Smart tools, I can write over the top of them. I can select that inking here. Again, I've got all those tools available to be used within PowerPoint. And then that just writes as an acetate over the top. So I can either then clear them, again, knowing the back of my hand, knowing that large surface is to erase. I can just clear them there. Or if I do want to save them, I have got a small kind of save button here, which can either do a couple of things, either just clear that inking, or I can then capture it and have that saved as a picture, as a JPEG to be able to use elsewhere. So I'm just going to clear that inking there and carry on with that. So then coming out of PowerPoint, I don't want to save those inkings, or I do in that case. So then I've got that inking within anything itself. All applications, good to go with that as well. So what I'm going to do now is actually unplug my Mac. So I'm going to I'm going to go home itself here. So now you can see I'm not mirroring. Don't need to unplug it, but what I could do here is then go to Smart Mirror here. Within Smart Mirror here, now I can actually connect wirelessly to it. So let's start with an iPad, for example. So I can go to my iPad, scroll down from the top right, click on Screen Mirroring, choose the name of the smartboard, and then you can see here, Invite. And then my iPad is then going to be mirrored up on here. And then as I move it around, that is then obviously going to be mirrored up on here. I can scroll down again, click there, and stop that. And that's mirroring from there as well. So really nice and easy from there. And you can see I can just have that invited guest here as well. I can change the permissions of that the way I want to within the settings down here. Doing it from a Mac, I can do that and actually have touchback as well. So from my Mac here, I'm just going to go to the application itself, and then you can see here I can see that the boards, because I've signed into it already, I can click on join, and then this is then going to join the board itself, pop up on here, connecting then to the other person, invite them to present, and now I can share my screen from on my Mac. Choose the screen I want, and then I have got that there, and that plays up on here. Let's just move the camera back. So now I'm doing it casting. I'm not actually having got the board connected, and from each one of these here, you can now see I can then move those objects from in here. So each of these will be able to move on, and if I still need to do inking, I can select the inking tool and then ink within that as well, click back to the pointing tool and move my inking as well. And that is casting from here, and that's wirelessly doing it as well, so with that touchback as well. So that's a kind of quick overview of how I can use my Mac and how that works really nicely with smart products. That is using Smart Mirror. So on your GX Plus, on your MX, on your RX, across the range, you can use that and have that ability from there as well. Of course, if there are any other questions, please feel free to contact me, put a comment below, or just email me, markhartright@smarttech.com, and we'll kind of arrange a demo or any more further questions. Happy to answer those as well. Thanks very much. Goodbye.